What up, y'all? It's your boy Geronimo, and we're back again with another video. First and foremost, I want to thank you all for being very patient with me. I know this video came much later than anticipated, whereas we're pretty far away from the closed beta test that just happened. But since I've got enough Marvel Rivals content and I did upload some of my gameplay from the beta test, I'd like to still kind of talk about my thoughts. Don't worry, you all, don't worry. It won't be an hour-long video. I promise you won't be that long this time. We're going to keep it shorter and sweeter. So first things I want to talk about pretty much, the general vibe of the game. It's about the same as the closed alpha test. You know, the art style is fantastic. Character designs are great. You know, there were some bouncing tweaks here and there. There were some nerfs. There were a couple of buffs. We'll get into those a bit later. So as far as modes, we did not get any new modes, I believe. We still have, either, capture the zone or push the payload type game and map mode. Map design, we got a new map called the Spider Islands, which is kind of similar to the Tokyo 2099 map from the alpha test. However, it's a bit more rural and not as urban, so it has a bit more of a Japanese traditional flair to it. Like you're kind of going through a neighborhood of sorts. I probably like this map the most out of all of them so far, just because you don't have a crazy choke point in the beginning. And the last part, you kind of are pushing up a hill and you go like 2 90-degree angles, and whoever is trying to defend, they have a really good vantage point over that. So if your team is on point, covering your P's and Q's, then yeah, it should be a good time. So the main attraction for the closed beta test, I would say, we did get 2 new characters to play with, and we got the trailers and announcements for them before they came out. First is Venom. Now, Venom is a Vanguard, which means he is a tank character. So no, he's not another attacker, so that's good. But Venom is really strong. For my Overwatch players who's familiar with Hammond or Wrecking Ball, the little cute hamster in the big ball mech that rolls around, he gives me a little bit of that, where he has a big swing move where he can swing really far in the air. You don't really control it with like physics like Wrecking Ball in Overwatch, but one thing that's also similar is that when you swing down, you can press an input and Venom will just propel down to the ground, and when he hits it, anyone around him will pop up. But he's mostly a melee class character. He doesn't really shoot projectiles like that. He just has these symbiote tendrils that he has about close to slightly mid-range for his attacks. He also has an ability, also like Wrecking Ball in Overwatch, where he can just give himself more armor. So his armor will be kind of blue, and yeah, he can just kind of tank and be more reliable with his kills. Ultimate is pretty much where he goes, "We are Venom," and he goes under the ground and he'll like munch anyone that's there, and it does a good amount of damage as well. With Venom, he brings a new team up combo with Venom, Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and Penny Parker, where Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and Penny Parker, they get a new input where they can kind of unleash this symbiote AoE move, then kind of move around while it's active. It's active for about 3-4 seconds, maybe 5 seconds, about that. But this is another input and another way to give an option for if anyone tries to get up on you and do some more damage. I don't believe it's really reliable for like getting a lot of kills. It's really good for like get off of me type of a move, especially for like Penny Parker, who doesn't really have the best close range options. However, she did get a pretty massive buff, which we'll talk about later. The second character that was added when this closed beta test just launched was Adam Warlock of Guardians of the Galaxy fame. So Adam Warlock, he is a strategist, aka a healer and support character. He's a mostly grounded hero, and he uses his staff to kind of fire mid to long range single energy beam attacks. So he's more of a backliner support character. His healing is really good though. He can basically just, I'm unsure of his exact range when healing, but if you see the reticle, you can heal whoever your teammates in front of you. He can also he can do like shared healing, where he can press one of his inputs, and really best to do this on like a tank. He can kind of share the damage with everyone else and prevent people from dying immediately from attack. So he's really good for like really supporting the team and keeping everyone alive. So his healing is pretty consistent. I'd say his only drawback is he doesn't have too many aerial options outside of when he does get killed. He gets a built-in resurrection mode, which he kind of goes into his cocoon, like a golden cocoon, and he can kind of float himself so he can reposition, and then he will he can resurrect himself. He's good to go. He also has a team up move with Star-Lord and Mantis, where his ult, he'll be able to put down an area type of circle, and anyone that dies in the area will automatically get resurrected with some of their health instantly. Well, not instantly, but it's pretty quick. It's no real cooldown to it. But with Star-Lord, Mantis, and Adam Warlock on the same team, they both, when they die, they get one kind of built-in res similar to Adam Warlock, where he can't really control where he moves around, but instead of being pushed back to the start of the map or the spawn time, he's able, they're able to just kind of respawn then and there, which is really good, especially for Star-Lord, who is still very much a DPS monster in this game. But other than that, halfway through the closed beta test, we got the surprise inclusion of 2 more characters. We got Thor Odinson himself, and he is also another Vanguard, which is great. Really happy to see that we're getting a lot of tank characters in the game, where Marvel's a very popular, recognizable franchise, and it has a lot of different characters. So Thor is actually pretty fun. He's probably one of the few melee based characters who actually feels like he can dish damage and survive. You can hold down, I believe it's left shift on PC, where he'll swing Mjolnir, his hammer, and you'll be able to propel yourself forward. When you do this, you can also do this to knock people back. It's really good for like knocking back other big characters that may be trying to approach. You can also use it when you're trying to, you're doing the walk from spawn to the middle of the map, or to get where the action is happening. You can pretty much just get yourself there quicker, whereas like most other characters so far just have to walk normally. His ultimate is basically where he will kind of channel the I think it's called the Thor Force in this. It's called different names like Odin Force, Thor Force, but I believe in this one he has the Thor Force, which gives him full power of thunder, and he basically punches much faster, and Mjolnir kind of orbits around his body. So it's really good for just dishing good quick damage when there's other kind of spongier enemy characters around. So he's really good in that aspect. He also has a team up move with Storm, which I'm glad, because as you guys should know, Storm is one of my favorite characters to play as so far in this. Basically, he gives Storm just another lightning based move. So I believe it's a C input on the keyboard for my PC players. But yeah, basically she just gets one more input, and she gets another way to dish out an attack, which, who's going to say no to an extra input? Nobody. And then the final character that was released about halfway through the same beta test, another very inspired pick, Jeff the Land Shark. Now, Jeff the Land Shark is one of those characters that's, he's more like an animal type of Marvel character. He, I believe, was experimented on and everything, but he's mostly known, or at least from what I know him, from the West Coast Avengers. He is also a strategist or a support character, also a healer. He's pretty unique. I can't really compare him directly to any other characters in any other hero team-based games or shooters. He's kind of like Rocket, where he sits really low to the ground, so his vantage point is going to be just a tad lower than most other characters. His main thing, though, is he can shoot a stream of water that heals anyone within reach. It just kind of does like linear healing. He can also spit these healing bubbles out, and you can place them farther ahead, close up, and whatever your teammates or even you walk into, then you'll restore some of your health. Another thing that's really cool about Jeff is he has a sprint, where basically he can kind of move faster. He has a faster movement speed than just his standard walk, and when he does that, he actually can swim within the ground. He can also swim up walls and stuff. So he's really good for that, man. You can actually kind of hide in some walls and wait for people to come around, try to get the jump on him. His main attacking though is he shoots like a single shot of like pressurized water. It's kind of one of those attacks where you can aim and try and get like direct hits on people. I believe it's usually like a 3-4 hit KO when you do it like that. However, when the shots hit the surface, they kind of do a little burst area of effect damage. So it's really good for just supporting other players in your team that are really going for the kills. And yeah, he's just a lot of fun. He's a lot of fun. I think a lot of people are gonna be really into that character because he's not really a character you find in the MCU. He's really just still in the comics. He's probably been in some other mobile games. I wouldn't be surprised if he was in Marvel Snap, but we're getting a bit carried away here. Now his ultimate move is he basically submerges himself and he pretty much can swim. He kind of creates a whirlpool and he swims in it. Now the unique thing about this whirlpool, you can actually use this against your allies or the enemies. And generally what this does is when you munch them, you kind of take them and submerge them in the ground and you can spit them somewhere else. So on a map like Odin's throne room, the Thor Asgard looking map in the game, when you're in the middle part of that where you have the wide open section on the left or right, depending on which way you're coming into the map, you can actually spit them out there. And as long as you're that character that has like good aerial options to move about the map, they pretty much dead, which is pretty funny, honestly. You can also do this for your teammates if you wanted them to kind of get out of harm's way or try to, save them and get them out as quick as you can. So Jeff is going to be a very versatile support character, and kudos to the team there at Marvel Rivals for adding a unique, inspired character that's not really well known outside of the comics, pretty much. So that's pretty much the new content that was added in this closed beta. I mean, with that, we got a couple new skins. There are some other minor changes, like Spider-Man's suit got a slight upgrade where it's, they kind of reduced how much his chest logo goes down, and I think there's a bit more black in some parts, but overall I think it's a cleaner look. And some characters got some animations cleaned up, or not cleaned up, but just changed. Like Penny Parker, her entire character select animation, like her entire pose her face is different. I actually like it better here. I didn't really have a problem with it before, but it's one of those, oh, I didn't know I would like a better change, so I greatly appreciate it. So let's talk about some of the previous things that I'd mentioned that, I kind of really wanted to hone in on. So 3 characters in particular got some pretty notable buffs that I talked about in my closed alpha test impressions, which of course, if you want to check those out and you haven't before and you're new to the channel, check the title card in the top, I believe it's the top right. It should be in the corner of the video, and or I'll have it in the description as well, so you can have a good idea of what I talked about there. But we're going to talk about first and foremost Black Panther. So I was pretty critical on Black Panther originally. I really felt like his game plan is sound. It's just, it requires a high amount of execution. There's not much wiggle room for it. But one thing that I was really critical on was he could climb and run up walls, but he had like a 3-second cooldown, and his collision with the walls didn't really feel that good. Because his whole playstyle is about kind of reaching around corners, running and clawing up to higher areas, and then jumping and throwing your vibranium spears, getting the vibranium marks, and swiftly attacking to both kill them and get kills and regain some of your health back and cooldown as well. So what they did is they improved how his run is up above walls. So now it just feels overall better. It just feels like a nice polished feel. And maybe it was because I've, had more time between both the alpha and the beta, but I started to actually figure out his game plan a bit more. You can't really go out there and just kind of go, running and around like crazy. You have to be really smart with his character, which is kind of fitting because T'Challa is a very intelligent character as the King of Wakanda, of course. So I'm a bit warmed up with Black Panther now, and I'm still gonna play him when the full game releases. So very happy about that. Also, what I also learned in the beta, use his melee move. Every character has a melee move, I believe, like an actual melee, press a button and they'll do a separate melee move. Since his regular attacks are just him swiping in front of him, his melee move is like he kind of does a overhead cross slash, and I think that has a little more range than his others, or at least it felt like it did. But overall, I felt pretty good with doing that, and I think it really worked out well. So I also have a video of me playing with him, and I got a good dub with him on the channel. I think I'll link it below as well if anyone's curious. So the next character I want to talk about is Penny Parker, who will probably be my main Vanguard character. My only gripe with her, and I don't know if anyone else put this in the feedback or if any of the devs check my videos or anything like that, or if anyone in Marvel Rivals dev team realized that they could change this. They actually sped up her main firing projectile weapon. Before, it was a really slow shot, like he really only shot one projectile like half a second or so, or not even half a second, it was close to a second, but they were kind of strong shots. Now they greatly sped it up. You'll see it on the screen here. The fire rate is much better. However, they did do a trade-off with reducing the damage of each shot, which makes sense since the fire rate's overall higher. Overall, I think this is a very good buff, a good rework, and it'll carry her farther in the full game when it does release as far as the tank is concerned. Everything else about her has been pretty much unchanged. She's really good at laying her spider mine. She can lay her stationary drone that spits out the electro webs and the mines. Very good area denial, very good crowd control, and of course the ult can still be chaotic. Now the final character I want to update my impressions on is Namor. I'm very, very happy with what they did. I feel like they kind of just reached into my brain mostly and was like, we got you, bro, we got you. So what they did with Namor, I think overall they kind of buffed some of his damage output as far as his regular attacking move, which is great when he just throws a trident, because he's supposed to be more of a backliner attacking character. He had a move where he would encase himself in like a spear of water, and he would just float higher in the air, but you couldn't move or heal or anything. And really, people figured out what would happen. They would just sit there, wait, and they would just shoot you and kill you. Even if you had like one or two of his octopus turret placements around. But otherwise, now what they did in the closed beta test, when you do go into the water, you can move around, you can change your elevation, so you can actually reposition. Like if you're on the ground level and you want to get out of there and go to a higher elevation, you can just do that. You control it, and you're in it for a good 4 or 5 seconds, which is really amazing. So very happy they made that change, because it's going to go a long way for Namor as well. Because I feel like Namor, as of right now, is kind of a slept-on character. I think he got a little more play in the closed beta. I did see a few more Namors than I did in the alpha. But overall, very happy about it. Very happy about it. So those are pretty much my impressions for the closed beta test of Marvel Rivals. Pretty much very similar to the first. They did nerf Hela a bit, but you can still get really good kills with her if you're just really good at headshots. The Punisher, he gets less time in the unlimited ammo mode when he's teamed up with Rocket. Iron Man, I believe he had some of his attacks buffed overall. But yeah, other than that, it felt mostly the same. There was some more polish here and there for sure. Oh, actually almost forgot. Magneto, I didn't really use him too much, but Magneto, he got some buffs where he can actually give himself a proper shield now, and his actual shield he puts up to block enemy fire or attacks. He can actually put that up more often now, which is good, because between him and Doctor Strange as tanks characters with shields to block things, his just really felt like the worst version. And then in some aspects is not still the best version of the shield, but if you're really into that play style, I think you have more wiggle room to, be powerful on the field. Be the master of magnetism. Not, have to really want Scarlet Witch to be on your team to get that that chaos metal sword that he uses. But otherwise, yeah, I'm still very much enjoying, my time with the game. We do know that the full game is coming out at the end of 2024, so they barely made it. I really thought they were going to get it out early next year. So that's pretty cool. It should be out in December 5th, again, as I said earlier. We don't really know the full roster yet. We'll get there when we get there. I don't know if they're going to do another open beta. They might. There's been no news yet. I don't check the Discord, so don't ask me about that. But otherwise, uh, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. If you like my thoughts and see more of my coverage and gameplay of Marvel Rivals when it does drop, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll also have more things going on here, so stay tuned. Again, thank you for watching and peace out.